Sagittarius, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? What is good with you? It is time for your weekly check-in. We're going to see what's going on with you guys in the second week of November. November week 2. So it's a weekly check-in. So it's just a short, quick, general, energetic overview. If any of you are in need of a personal reading, if you want, you can just go straight to my website, tarotwithrich.com. I have a link for that right down here in the description of this video. And we are running our Black Friday sale all November long. And you can read up on all the sales that we got going on this month on my website. Link is right down there in the description. All right. Let's see how the energy's looking. How's the energy looking between Sagittarius and the person they're dealing with in the second week of November? Oh, you know what that means. At least somebody is contemplating making a return. I'm not going to say it's happening yet. We'll see what else comes through. It might. It's possible. Oh, there's another one. Oh, the death reversed. Hermit, 9 of Cups. Oh, and the Ace of Cups. This kind of feels like somebody is making a return. Yup. I think it feels to me like this person has probably been waiting for you to let your guard down. Which, how the hell do they know if you let your guard down? I don't know, but it's kind of looking to me like you about to hear from this person. So what it's looking like, there's way more energy pushing for that than against it. But then there's this. So that's the one little monkey wrench. If this was in the reverse, I would say 100% you're hearing from this person. But, that's a tough one. I think I would have to split this down the middle. I would say that for probably 60 to 75% of you, you're probably going to hear from this person. Probably. Maybe anywhere from 25 to 40% of you are not. But there is a lot of energy cultivating that could end up manifesting into a reconnection between you and this person. I think a lot of you, though, regardless, it really feels like it's getting to a point where even if you did hear from them, you would either turn them down or completely ignore them altogether. Some of y'all dealing with an Aquarius also have Scorpio, Virgo. All right. Well, let's see what their feelings, energies, and intentions look like. What are their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions? Oh, there's the death reversed again. See, they're contemplating. Probably wondering whether or not you're still holding a grudge. You know what I think they want to do? Okay, this is a little bit more descriptive. They're contemplating. They would like to test the waters and see if a reconciliation attempt is possible. If not, they're going to dress it up and disguise it as closure. But there's a big old but. If it's not on the table, they also run the risk of you embarrassing the shit out of them. So they're throwing that into account too. You know, if you don't want to reconcile, then I can just dress it up as closure. But what if you start shooting your mouth off? You know? So I think there's multiple things that they're contemplating here. They know what they want to say. They're just waiting on an open door of opportunity to say it. But at the end of the day, it's not really telling me. Okay, so let's put it like this. In order for a reconciliation to work successfully, what has to happen? Both people involved have to bring a new energy back to the connection. Both people. Not just one person, not just the other person. Not just the person who did wrong, not just the person who's the primary catalyst for the majority of the problems, not just the person who has the most issues that they need to work on. Both people involved have to bring a new energy back to the connection. Now, making a frequency change is not hard for you. I would say that if I had to name one sign of the zodiac that can genuinely make a frequency change smoother than any other sign, it would be Sagittarius. Now, it's still a slow process no matter what your sign is, but I don't think that would be that big of a struggle for you. So what I'm looking at is, have they made a frequency change? I don't think so. I don't think so. At the end of the day, I think that they are the exact same person that you walked away from, or that walked away from you, or whatever. And when it all comes down to it, nothing else matters but that. Intentions don't matter. Feelings don't matter. Nothing supersedes energy and vibration. Nothing does. Doesn't matter what your intentions are. Doesn't matter what your feelings are. If you don't bring a new energy back to the connection, vibration is the primary law. The vibration that you bring into the connection is the energy that's going to manifest, regardless of anything else. So, okay. But here's the thing, though. I'm not really seeing anything indicative of bad intentions. But, like I said, that doesn't mean that there won't be a bad outcome. Let's get the advice. Let's just see what advice wants to come through. Oh, down, dog. 6 of Cups reversed. If you haven't even started making peace with the past yet, I wouldn't go nowhere near this person. So you're going to have to go inside and check with yourself on that. Have I made peace with the past yet? That doesn't mean have I started forgetting about it. That means, can I bring the past back to the forefront and sit with it and be okay with it? If I can take a look back at something that happened to me and be at peace with it because I understand the deeper meaning behind why it all happened, so much so that I'm actually glad that it happened, then I've healed. Whenever I'm glad that something happened, that's when healing happens. When you're looking back at something and laughing, because it makes sense now. I'm gonna tell you what right now. This isn't to downplay any experiences that anyone has been through. But if you heal properly, you will always see the universe's sense of humor. That is one of the biggest key elements that lets you know that you've healed, is when you see the sense of humor in it. There is a huge sense of humor behind everything that the universe does. And when you can see the universe's sense of humor, you're healed. I promise you. Promise you that. Anyway, let me see what else comes through. You also want to be standing tall and strong in your emotional integrity. Okay, so I'll just put it to you like this. I'm going to send you inside yourself and ask yourself some questions. First of all, have you made peace with the past? We touched on that. Second of all, could this person trigger you if they tried? If they could, you might not want to go there. You might not want to go there. But I mean, if you're very confident that you're pretty solid, you've done at least enough healing to be able to stand tall and strong in your integrity, your emotional independence and integrity, to the point to where if they tried to trigger you, you could just step away and, nah, you ain't worth my time. Then maybe a conversation could be beneficial between you and this person. But if you think the energy is still a little bit too volatile, you might not want to, because you run the risk of adding even more karma to the karmic tie. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, what's the lesser of the two evils? Do I leave this karmic tie as it is and deal with it? Or do I put myself in a situation where I take the chance of one or two things happening? Either I release the karmic tie or I make it worse. Kind of like when I was 19 years old, I was almost killed in this really bad car crash, really bad. And something snapped my collarbone and severed the nerves in my brachial plexus. And my arm was paralyzed for like 3 months. Still to this day, it doesn't function at 100%. I still got a bunch of numb skin up here. I can't feel none of this. The doctor said that you have severed nerves, and a lot of those nerves are tangled up in that bone. The bone healed with the nerves tangled up inside the bone. We can do surgery to re-break that bone and reattach the nerves, but you have a 50% chance of losing all function of your arm. All of it. I said, no, fuck it. We'll just leave it. We'll just leave it as it is. Bug it. Sometimes, what's the lesser of the two evils? Yeah, I'm going to have a fucked up arm for the rest of my life. But I could take the chance on completely ruining my arm and having no use of it at all. Nah, I'm good. I'll just deal with a fucked up arm. So that's where you got to ask yourself, what's the lesser of the two evils? Do I leave the karmic tie as it is and at least work on healing it and processing it and dealing with it and releasing it? Or do I take the chance on possibly making it even worse? And take that and do with it what you will. All right, let's see how the energy's looking for the singles. Single Saggies. Let's see what's coming in. Anything new coming in? Anything old coming in? Anything good coming in? Anything bad coming in? Anything coming in at all? Second week of November. Ooh, some of y'all are making the decision to take a break from dating altogether, is what this says. Hang on. Ooh, Ace of Pentacles reversed. Hierophant reversed. Seven of Cups. No, honestly, I think that it's kind of telling me that I think a lot of you are going into hermit mode. We're stepping into this heavy-ass retrograde that's turning out to be a lot heavier than I thought it would be. Usually the pre-shadow is the worst part, and the first half of the pre-shadow was a cakewalk. I was like, ooh, man, thank you, universe, for giving me an easy fucking retrograde season. Thank you. I'm going to float right through this one. Oh, no, that didn't last long. Oh, that didn't last long. Here are the past 3 days. Oh! Man, it hit hard. And a lot of times, especially if you have a heavy Virgo influence in your chart, which I do. I have moon and rising. But, you know, regardless, sometimes it's best to just kind of lay low during that time. That's what they tell you, and I've learned that sometimes that is the best thing that you can do. is just lay low when your life allows for it, you know. But I think a lot of you are kind of going into hermit mode is what this is telling me. Other than that, though, I think there are several offers or options or opportunities available, but maybe you're just not really all that interested in any of them. I do think that there is one person very specifically that's interested in you, but it kind of feels like, I don't think they're making a move. That's what it is. I don't think they're making a move. And it's probably because, well, it kind of looks to me like they haven't really shown you very much about how they feel. But they can kind of tell that you're not interested in something, either them specifically or just dating in general. So, you know, they're not really coming forward and communicating, not really making a move. And like I said, when it comes to the majority of you, I would say probably more than half of you are going in hermit mode. And just everybody stay the hell away from me. I'm staying in my own lane, focusing on my own shit, and just, you know, putting your face in whatever your goals or work is in your life. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Sometimes you got to do that. Actually, I would go as far as to say it behooves you to find the time to do that from time to time in your life. If you can never, ever, ever schedule yourself some alone time, ever, that's a problem. That's a problem. I'm not saying go isolate away from everyone and be a hermit unless you want to. We introverts enjoy that, right? But even the most flamboyant extrovert on the planet still needs time to themselves. And if you can't do that, if you live in fear of taking alone time, that's indicative of a much bigger problem. Much bigger. All right. Well, that was a funny message. How much time we got here? I guess let's just get the advice. Advice for the single Sagittarius. What advice do we have? Yeah, hangman, dude. So there's nothing wrong with hanging back, chilling, and going in hermit mode. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just have to take a step back and let go of everything and say, whatever happens is the universe's plan. If I step back and let go, that tells me what the universe wants for me. If I'm just going about my business and the universe hasn't brought anyone into my life, I guess it's not time. If I have been taking action to try to meet someone and the universe hasn't brought anyone into my life, I guess it's not time. Sometimes it's helpful to just take a step back, look around at life, and say, okay, this is where the universe wants me. I don't know why, but I'm trusting that I'm right where the universe wants me. And like I said, sometimes you just got to take a step back and let go and say, all right, universe, dude, I'm letting you take the wheel for a little bit. You know, I'll take it back here in a little while, but you take it for now. This is on you for now. I'm trusting that anything that happens from this point forward, it's whatever you want. If you want to bring someone into my life, you'll bring them in. If you don't, you won't. If an opportunity of some sort wants to present itself, it will. If not, it won't. And a real heavy-ass Mercury retrograde is a really good time to take that stance. A really good time. I'm not saying just go through life being lazy and not doing nothing. But I'm also not saying constantly force and fight your way upstream, fighting against the current your whole life. true wisdom and a true spiritual path is being able to discern when to go against the flow and when to go with the flow. There's a time and a place for everything. You don't want to spend your whole life doing either one. Sometimes I fight against the flow. Sometimes I go with the flow. I need to determine when it's time to go with the flow. I think that during this retrograde season, if you want to go with the flow, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, if an opportunity presents itself, okay, because for some of you, I'm feeling like, because this is at the very end of the line, in the coming weeks, you know, there may be opportunities that present themselves. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, you're right where the universe wants you. There's nothing wrong with going into hermit mode. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you got to do that. And another thing too is, if anybody has a problem with that, well, that may be somebody that you want to reconsider whether or not you need them in your life. So, all right, y'all, I feel like those were the messages that my Sagittarius family needed to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, information for personal readings is all down here in the description. All right? I'm out of here now, y'all. I will see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity. Stay blessed.